Hello everybody, it's Maikito, and quickly going over last video's picks. Overall, it was a 2-in-1 day. 2 out of the 4 YouTube picks, the ones in the video themselves, were DMPs, as in the players didn't start, which is what happened, especially in the beginning of the season when we're still trying to figure out how teams are going to line up, and teams themselves are trying to figure out what their best lineup is going to be. With Stefan Ortega didn't play, and Hagi Wright didn't start. And then Ethan Ampadu hired him 0.5 shots assisted hit as well. And then I had 2 added plays. I had Rashford, which is actually a scorcher play, which means you got paid more for him to take 2 shots. Hired him 1.5. He hit as well. And then I added Doku to go higher than 2 shots. He pushed. And then our only miss was Kobe Mino, hired him 1.5 tackles. In my opinion, he would have hit. I did predict that he was gonna have full minutes, which he didn't. He got subbed out with like 20 minutes to go or something like that, and he had 1. If he would have played the full game, I'm confident he would have got at least 1 more. So it was unfortunate for us, but overall 2-in-1 day, not a bad day. Like I said, it's just as time goes on, we figure out the lineups and teams are more consistent. It'll be easier to predict these plays. And then tomorrow there's 1 League Cup game and 1 game in the England Championship, which is the 2nd division in the England League. So I'll just get straight into those. My first pick is Carlton Morris to go higher than 0.5 shots on target, playing at home for Luton, going up against Burnley. He averaged 0.97 per 90 in the Prem last season, which pretty much won 0.97 already there. And they're playing another relegated team in Burnley. So they played each other twice last season in the Prem, and he went over in 1 out of the 2 games. One of them was actually off the bench, and he came through and he got a shot on target. And in the other one, he had 4 shots with none of them being on target, which was unfortunate. But if he's taking those shots, I'm confident that he'll get 1 on target against Burnley this next game. And then in those 2 games, Luton took 14 shots away, and when they played Burnley at home, they took 18 shots. So they played well against Burnley. They took a good amount of shots, and I expect the same coming back and now playing at home. 1, he's our penalty taker, so if they get a penalty, he'll get the shot on target from that. And then when you look at how he took his shots last season, 22 were with his right, 16 were with his left, so he's willing to take shots with either foot. It looks like he's comfortable with both feet. He shoots a little more with his right, but he's really comfortable shooting with either one, which is always good for us. And actually, a majority of his shots, he had 31 shots that were headers. So most of his shots were headers, and there's a reason for that. First of all, he's 6'1", and he wins 84% of aerial duels, which is good. And I believe Luton will get plenty of corners as well, and I'll get into that later on. But not only will he shoot with either foot, but he's a tall, strong body that wins most of his aerial duels. So if he gets crosses and from corners or free kicks, and he gets them pretty good, we just need him to get 1 of those that are on target. He was Luton's top scorer last season, and he was their 2nd player with the most assists. So I expect him to play in this next game, play well. Playing against Burnley, I expect a lot of shots from them. I need just 1 on target for Carlton Morris. My next play is Dara O'Shea for Burnley on the other side to go lower than 53.5 passes. He averaged 52.5 in the Prem last season, so right under this mark. But he averaged 60.2 at home, and he dropped all the way down to 44.3 away, which is where he's playing this next game. Luton, on the other hand, when it comes to possession of the ball, when they played away from home, they averaged 38, and they went all the way up to 47 at home. And a lot of that is skewed because they played obviously a lot of big teams, and when they played big teams, Luton just gave away possession and tried to play on the counter. But when they play similarly matched teams, they tend to have more possession of the ball. For example, these are all at home. They had 56% of the ball against Bournemouth. They had 60% of the ball against Nottingham Forest. They had 75% against Sheffield United. And they played twice last season. He didn't play in the game where Luton were at home. Luton had 49% of the ball, but the 2 center backs at Burnley had 32 and 26 passes. So both of them went under that mark. And then he did play Luton when Burnley played at home, and even then Luton has 62% of the ball, and he went under with 28. So as you can see, I expect more Luton possession, even if the possession is 50-50. I still think 53.5 is just a little too high of a mark for him. So I just feel like I said it's too high of a mark playing away from home against Luton, who will have more possession of the ball. Just too high. Dara O'Shea to go lower than 53.5 passes. And then my last play is in the Leagues Cup, and it's Julio Gonzalez to go higher than 3.0 saves, playing away from home for Pumas, going up against Seattle. He's had 3+ in 4 out of the 5 games. He had 4 against Juarez, 3 against Pachuca, 8 against Monterrey, and 5 against Vancouver. That 8 and 5 were in the last 2 recent games, and the one game where he went under was against Austin, where Austin had 4 shots on target, which first of all was good enough mark, and Austin had an early red card. So even with the man down, first of all, Austin won and had a decent amount of shots. So it just shows that recently, Pumas just hasn't been good defensively. They have been pretty leaky when it comes to defense and allowing through balls and stuff like that. And Seattle averaged 15.8 shots at home, with 5.4 of them being on target. And Seattle in the last couple games, they've been in really pretty good, decent form. They had 21 shots, 12 of those being on target at home versus Galaxy. They had 20 shots, 10 of those being on target at home versus Minnesota. They had 21 shots, 6 of those being on target against LAFC. And then they had 11 shots, 7 of those being on target at home versus St. Louis. So first of all, they've been playing at home a lot, which has been boosting their morale. They've been playing well. They've been shooting a lot of shots, and at least half of them have been on target, which is good for us. And Seattle, whenever they attack, they're good at playing on the wings, which Pumas has been playing, not been good at. They take long shots, so they can easily get a shot on target from just somebody on Seattle taking a long shot being on target. And they're good at stealing the ball from the opposition. So I think 3.0 saves is a good mark for a team that hasn't been that well defensively, and against a Seattle team that has been finding a groove in the attacking sense when it comes to them taking shots and them being on target. So I like Julio Gonzalez to go higher than 3 saves. I want to give a quick shout out to my partner Underdog Fantasy. You can use code Maikito in the description. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And then I also have the YouTube membership for those that are interested. Those who are there get the content before anybody else to try to avoid potential bumps and plays getting taken away. It happened last video, could happen again this video as well. And then also I have my Cashapp and my Fliff linked in the description if you want to use those. But then that I really appreciate anybody who supports me in any way. I have 2 moneyline plays that I like, so I'll get into those. The first one is the Luton Town corners 3-way against Burnley. They went over this mark in both games against them last season, 7-6 and 8-2. And the reason why is because, like I mentioned before, I expect more Luton possession, which means more chances for them to get corners. And even if they don't have more possession, when the way Luton played last season is they played off the wings and they crossed the ball in. And the reason why that's good is because defenders have to either try to clear the ball when it comes to the pass being taken, or when the pass gets crossed in, they have to try to header it clear and stuff like that, which means more opportunities for those cleared balls to become corners. While Burnley have the opposite play style when it comes to them, it's more about sending through balls to the wingers and cutting in. They don't really cross, or just sending long balls to their striker. They're not about playing off the wings and crossing the ball in. They're more about trying to find through balls and long balls. So they just have totally different play styles, and Luton's style of play gives them more opportunities to get corners. Even if you look at their last couple home games in the Prem, they had like 4 corners, 6 corners, 7 corners. So they get a lot of corners, especially at home. Like I said, their play style just gives them those opportunities. So like the Luton Town corners 3-way against Burnley. And the second play that I like in the Leagues Cup in that game is Seattle to be the first to score against Pumas. They've gone over this in their last 7 out of 10 games and their last 4 out of 5, and it's mainly due to whenever they play well, they are good defensively. Some of those 10 games, they've won 2-0, 2-0, 3-1, 0-1, 2-0, 2-1. So they in those 10 games, most of the time they either keep a clean sheet or they'll concede more than 1, which is good for us. And obviously, if Pumas can't score, we just need Seattle to score, and they'll obviously be the first one to score. And Pumas have gone under this in 3 out of 5 games, 4 out of 7 this season, and 5 of them have been away, and they've gone under in 4 out of the 5 games. Like I mentioned before, they have a leaky defense, and Seattle have seem to have found like a decent, good lineup that they seem to go to with Rusnak and Morris and Roldan up top. They have seemed to have found their groove and what they want to attack with. And now that they're playing Pumas, who have, like I said, recently just a lot of shots, have been pretty leaky. I expect Seattle to take advantage of this matchup. Like I said earlier too, they've played a lot of home games as well, so they've been comfortable and they've had the advantage of playing a lot of home games recently. And now going up against Pumas, I expect them to be the first one to score. So like Seattle, first to score against Pumas. Thank you everybody for watching. If you could, like the video, comment as well, boost the video out to more people. And then when it comes to last video, I asked you guys if you guys had any suggestions when it comes to how I should format these future videos and stuff like that. And the people that did comment and mention anything, most of you guys said to just keep it the same, so I will likely just keep it the same unless you have any other suggestions you guys want to put in the comments. And then if I do have any added plays, you guys know I'll put in the pinned comment, usually between 30 minutes to an hour before game time and stuff like that, so you can, or even in the middle of the day as they add more lines or lines change and stuff like that, so you can keep an eye out for that as well. And I'll keep to see if any lineups change as well. But I hope everybody has a good night, a good day, and we can cash out tomorrow.